Hello and good morning. Welcome to News Central Now here on News Central Television. I am Joe Hanson. Let's take a look at the top stories for this hour. President Bola Tinubu arrives Rio de Janeiro ahead of the 19th Heads of State and Government Summit. We also have news concerning PDP as they condemn Ondo governorship election results, alleging electoral fraud. And Senegal's ruling party claims victory in legislative elections as vote counting continues. You do well to stay with us to get the details shortly. Let's begin the news this hour by telling you that President Bola Tinubu has arrived in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, ahead of the 19th Heads of State and Government Summit of the Group of 20. He arrived at 11:03 p.m. local time on Sunday, that's Monday, at 3:03 a.m. West African time. Well, he was warmly received by Ambassador Breno Costa from Brazil's Ministry of External Relations. The president is accompanied by several key officials, including Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Tugar, Minister of Livestock Development Idi Mokhtar Mahia, Minister of Art, Tourism, Culture and Creativity Anatu Musawa, Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security Dr. Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, and Ambassador Mohammed, Director General of the National Intelligence Agency. During the summit, President Tinubu is also expected to engage in bilateral meetings focused on advancing Nigeria's socio-economic reforms. Nigeria and India have strengthened their partnership, pledging collaboration in economic development, defense, healthcare, and food security. During Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Abuja, he and President Bola Tinubu discussed counter-terrorism, maritime security, and trade. They agreed on measures to combat piracy and enhance naval cooperation. India reaffirmed support for Nigeria's defense modernization and highlighted over $14 billion in Indian investment targeting energy, telecommunications, and industrial sectors. Both nations committed to improving healthcare, energy supply, and food security. India will share its Co-Win Health platform and provide affordable medicines. Cultural exchanges, education programs, and renewable energy cooperation also featured prominently, solidifying the growing ties between the two countries.
The last time we met was on the margins of G20 Leaders Summit in Delhi in September 2023. As I recall, I have a very good time, a good lunch, and good experience to invite you so that we can rekindle and reclassify our relationship with India. The conference organized by our two countries, the frequency of high-level engagements has to improve. Indian citizens in Nigeria and investors are doing great service to your reputation and to democratic value and economic opportunity in our region. Although your current visit is short, I'm sure that you use this unique opportunity in many ways that we share similarities in terms of diversity and development experience, as earlier disclosed. Nigeria values its excellent relationship with India, and we work to deepen broaden the same for mutual benefit of our two friendly countries. You represent a very strong commitment in democratic values and norms. You have been.
Well, earlier on, we were joined by social policy analyst Kenneth Ikenwa, who spoke to us on this development.
Nigeria is the sixth largest oil exporter, and so we seem to have gone into the oil business before India. India, too, has gained some stride in terms of crude exportation, crude exploration. If we decide to collaborate in that area, India will have a lot to benefit from Nigeria. Most importantly, too, we could have a lot of technical aid exchange where we have researchers coming in from India and a lot of researchers from Nigeria, too, that will benefit the Indian subcontinent can also, be allowed to go on exchange programs from Nigeria, and that would add a lot of value in terms of development of foreign exchange, of intellectual exchange, knowledge exchange for India. So it's a mutual benefit. I believe it's a relationship that can be healthy. I don't see any exploitation or any unnecessary neo-colonial tendencies coming from this kind of relationship. It is one, especially when you begin to see the role that India is playing in the new emerging economic bloc, which is known as BRICS, and which I think Nigeria is a little bit flirting with here and there. It could go a long way in positioning Nigeria and repositioning Nigeria on the economic arm of the world, and this could be the entire benefit of Nigeria. My knowledge of military international relations of Nigeria and Nigeria's foreign policy shows that Nigeria has had a long-term military relationship with India. And we've seen a lot of Indian military personnel coming down to Nigerian War College for their senior div courses. We call the senior div courses in the military.
Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has bestowed Nigeria's Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger on Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi during a bilateral meeting at the presidential villa, Abuja. The honor conferred on Sunday recognizes Modi's leadership and deepens ties between the two nations. Tinubu praised Modi's commitment to democratic values and his historic electoral successes in India's complex society. The president said Nigeria values its relationship with India and seeks to strengthen this partnership for mutual benefit. The meeting is part of Modi's state visit aimed at fostering collaboration between the two countries. Let's now talk election matters. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has declared Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa of the All Progressives Congress, APC, as the winner of the Saturday's governorship election in Ondo State. Aiyedatiwa was declared winner after polling the highest number of votes in the election. The incumbent governor battled Ajayi Bola of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Olorunfemi Festus of the Labour Party, LP, and Abbas Mimiko of Zenith Labour Party, ZLP, among others, in Saturday's poll. Announcing the result in Akure, the state capital, INEC's returning officer and vice-chancellor of Federal University, Lokoja, Professor Akinwumi Olayemi Durotimi, said Aiyedatiwa polled a total of 366,781, while Ajayi got 117,845, and LP had 1,162.
Aiyedatiwa Lucky Orimisan of APC, having satisfied the requirement of the law, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected. Signed by Professor Olayemi Durotimi Akinwumi, the returning officer. Thank you and God bless Nigeria.
Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa of Ondo State has assured citizens and residents of the state of its commitment to delivering on promises made ahead of the governorship election. This followed his announcement by Nigeria's electoral body as the winner of the poll, where he actually hit his closest rival, Agbola Ajayi of the People's Democratic Party, by over 240,000 votes. Our correspondent Amadine Uyi reports.
The collation process was watched by many across the state. At the Government House Banquet Hall, the 7 governors of Edo, Borno, Benue, Cross River, Ogun, Imo, and Lagos were in attendance, including national leaders of the All Progressives Congress. Following the announcement of Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa as the winner of the election, polling over 366,000 votes to beat his closest rival from the People's Democratic Party, Agbola Ajayi, who polled 117,845 votes. The governor said the victory is an affirmation of his acceptance by the people.
366,000 plus votes against 100 and something. The actual figure I can't mention right now because I don't have the results, still with my agent. But from the announcement by the INEC that we watch on the TV, it's an overwhelming, result.
He says that his government will deliver on the expectations of residents of the state.
They should be the people should expect better service, and that's what they've been looking forward to. Because I campaigned across the entire 18 local government, the only candidate that went through or campaigned or traversed the entire 18 local government, not just the capital city of the local government, all communities, almost all the communities, we visited them, we see the roads.
Some others in attendance expressed their view of the entire process leading to the victory of the governor.
This is one of the best elections INEC has ever conducted. Despite the teething challenges before the election, INEC has proved to us that it can conduct a free, fair, and credible election.
Yesterday, people of Ondo State have been jubilating, dancing, and right here you can see, even behind me, you can see the noise. So we need not even discuss that because it is so clear.
This is an expression of overwhelming love for the governor. It's an expression of confidence on the performance and the capability of the governor to deliver to the people of the state. It's a proof of his sterling character and behavior.
With elections now over, jubilations have erupted in several areas of the state. Many of the residents will be looking forward to receiving the dividends of good governance and democracy from the ruling party. In Ondo State for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
To discuss this and praise the just concluded Ondo governorship election, I'm being joined by public affairs analyst Jide Johnson. Good morning, Jide Johnson. How would you assess INEC's conduct of the Ondo governorship election in terms of transparency? Let's also look at the aspect of possibly logistics. Not forgetting too, we can also look at the overall efficiency. What do you make out of it?
Well, the outcome is predictable in the sense that the ruling party is well organized and the opposition party that is presently at a disarray in terms of who is the national leader of the PDP and what level of opposition are they putting up concerning that. With respect to INEC, I think one of the things we should focus on doing an evaluation of the off-cycle election and 2023 election is for us to have an overhaul of that system. There should be some measure of electoral reforms in terms of the delivery of the process. You spoke about the logistics concerning the election. It is still not excellent as far as I'm concerned. We should have gotten over some teething problems that you have in terms of delay in delivering electoral materials to. The electoral material should get to all polling units at a specific time. The election is a matter of logistics, and I think that then INEC needs to review its logistic approach towards conducting the election. Secondly, you talk about transparency. With respect to transparency, was what INEC wanted to achieve with the portal, with the transmission of the result, with the IRF. I think that moving forward, what should be the major concern of the 10th Assembly at the national level, both the Senate, is electoral reform. We must reform the process. Because if the process is not reformed, and then the outcome will always be outcomes which you are having now. Look at the total number of people that actually voted for a governor of a state that ruled the state for. It's not even up to 500,000. 400,000 people determine somebody that is going to sit on billions of naira for the next 4 years. So we need to review this process that will ensure that there is large voters turnout, that people will feel secure to come out and vote, and that believe that the security agencies will provide the needed security apparatus that is required for them to feel safe and secure to go out and cast their vote. And also, INEC needs to process. I can assure you that a lot of people have lost confidence in the entire process, thinking that it's a predictable outcome. Whether I vote or I don't vote, the election has already been determined. All you need to do is just to do a vote properly across the length and breadth of Nigeria and ask them about their opinion concerning the electoral process. So we need to put in a systemic reorganization that ensures voters' confidence in the process, because the beauty of democracy is actual voters turn into electorate. Now you turn into electorate, and that means that we have a large voters turnout on the day of the election to elect whoever they feel should be their representative for the next 4 years. But the situation whereby you have low voters turnout as a result of lack of voters' confidence in the process, or as a result of fear, people fear concerning security, then you not have democracy. What you have is the perpetuation of minority rule.
All right. Let's quickly look at allegations of vote trading, which indeed marred elections, especially this weekend. Do you think, with a credible report of such practices during the election, and how effective do you think INEC and security agencies addressed the issues, especially the issue of vote trading?
Well, don't forget, when the election was held, it was this same Ondo election that brought a popular saying in our local parlance. I'll say it in my local dialect: vote and go and cook a nice meal or a nice soup for yourself. So the issue of vote trading, you can call it whichever name you want, you can use whatever nomenclature. The issue of vote buying, vote trading has been something that has plagued Ondo election. It was so predominant in 2020, when the last election was held, that returned the late governor for a second term. It was apparent then, and that same issue was also raised concerning this election. That's why I said that we need some measure of reforms. The outcome is predictable. The outcome is predictable in the sense that you perpetuate poverty in the system, and you have enough resources. Every 4 years, you give money to people. People will be able to sell their votes. If Esau could sell his birthright for a piece of muscle, how much more mere mortal men when it comes to elections? So the political class have understood the process. They perpetuate poverty, and when election comes, they monetize the process. And they monetize the process. An hungry man cannot think. An hungry man will sell his vote for a piece of muscle at that particular point in time. He's not thinking of 4 years. He's thinking about solving his immediate problem, his immediate needs. And if giving him 5,000 or 10,000 will solve his immediate needs, he doesn't care, will sell the vote. So these are the reforms that we need to look at. We need to reform the entire electoral process to ensure that monetary incentive is not part and parcel of the electoral process. I asked you this question. During the course of the election, you will see EFCC, you will see ICPC, and all of these agencies of government claiming to have arrested people engaging in vote trading. At the end of the day, have you ever seen one prosecution?
Not really, but I think we do have a network glitch there. But I want to say thank you so much, Jide Johnson, for speaking with us. We do indeed appreciate your time. Well, talking of the election still, the People's Democratic Party has called the just concluded Ondo State governorship election a sham. The opposition party condemned the conduct of the election by the Independent National Electoral Commission, citing irregularities like vote buying and alleging electoral fraud. In a statement signed by its National Publicity Secretary, Debo Olagunagba, on Sunday, the PDP said it is reviewing the outcome of the poll and called the election the worst to have ever happened or conducted by INEC. We'll go for a quick break. When we return, NAF airstrikes neutralizes key bandit leaders in Zamfara State. We'll have details of that story and more. Stay with us. Welcome back. To security matters now, the Nigerian Air Force, NAF, has confirmed the successful neutralization of numerous bandits, including top loyalists of notorious leaders Dan Isuhu and Dogo Sule, in airstrikes conducted in Zamfara State. The strikes, part of Operation Farauta Mujia, targeted Bamban Kauye village in Safi local government area, a known hub for bandit operations. Intelligence revealed the criminals were planning coordinated attacks against military personnel and civilians. NAF spokesman Air Commodore Olushola Akimboyewa said the operation dealt a significant blow to the bandits' operational capacity with reports confirming the elimination of high-ranking members. The airstrikes align with broader efforts to dismantle bandits' networks and restore stability in northwest Nigeria. And now to politics. The Labour Party has suspended Senator Kevin Chukwu, representing Enugu East Senatorial Zone, over alleged anti-party activities and insubordination. The suspension issued by the party's Amore Ward executives in Nkano West local government area was confirmed in a letter addressed to the Enugu State Party chairman. The letter cited Senator Chukwu's failure to adhere to party principles and refusal to respond to multiple invitations for a hearing. Signed by Ward Chairman Comrade Chika Oko. The suspension is effective for 90 days with an option for the senator to challenge the decision through party constitutional channels. This development highlights ongoing tensions within the party's ranks. A lawsuit has been filed to nullify the federal government's award of the Lagos-Calabar Highway project to High-Tech Construction. The plaintiff argues that the government violated the Public Procurement Act and Environmental Impact Assessment Act in awarding the contract. The suit seeks to hold the executive accountable for transparency and environmental compliance in public spending. Legal experts say the case could reaffirm the judiciary's role in curbing executive overreach and ensuring accountability in the allocation of taxpayers' funds. The outcome may set a precedent on how the government selects contractors for multi-billion naira projects, particularly when environmental and procurement laws are at stake.
Well, as you know, we instituted an action in the Federal High Court challenging the award of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, the process for award of the contract. And that matter is coming up to be heard today, and that's why we're here. Well, we expect the court to essentially examine our case. What we're saying is that due process was not followed. This is a multi-trillion contract. There was no competitive bidding. It was awarded on a single source basis. We feel that this is in contravention of the Public Procurement Act as well as the Environmental Impact Assessment Act. And we believe the judiciary needs to step in and hold the executive accountable.
Well, let's move on now to our very next story to business. The Nigerian exchange recorded a bullish week, delivering a gain of 295 billion naira in market capitalization amid positive investor sentiment. The all-share index ASI rose 0.50% to close at 97,722.28 points, bringing its year-to-date return to 30.69%. Key drivers included strong buying interest in flour mill, Ondo, and Guarantee Trust Holding Company. Analysts attributed the gains to sector rotation and portfolio rebalancing following promising Q3 earnings reports. Financial services led the trading activity with 1.068 billion shares, accounting for over 72% of turnover. Oil and gas and consumer goods also contributed significantly. Despite the positive trend, investor caution remained, with more decliners than gainers in the broader market due to ongoing economic uncertainties. Joining me now on News Central is Mohamdu Saidu, Senior Research Analyst at Trust Bank Capital Management Limited. Thank you for being here. Let's go straight into it. What factors do you think contributed to the Nigerian exchange's shift to a bullish trend, now resulting in a 295 billion naira gain?
Good morning. So let's go straight into it. A number of factors we can see contributed to this shift. Firstly, in the previous 2 weeks, we saw the market tilting slightly towards the bears. So even on the back of strong Q3 performances from a lot of sectors. So it was only natural for us to see investors start coming in at attractive levels and picking up maturities, especially in like the banking and insurance sectors, which were, especially the insurance sector, which was depressed for a while. So it was only natural we saw stocks in the insurance sector bouncing back. Also, we also saw stocks like flour mill, which were not necessarily because of the performance, but rather the news of them changing the listing price from 17 naira to 6 naira. So it was a mix of a number of factors, but not necessarily one single factor.
Okay. You say a list of many factors, but can you also share the role that the sector rotation and portfolio rebalancing played, especially in driving positive market sentiment last week?
It was one of the major reasons actually, because in a bearish market, we usually see portfolio managers reshape their portfolios, especially when all of their stocks are down. They're usually looking for opportunities here and there. So they saw a lot of opportunities in like the insurance sector and the banking sector. So that was the major factor that really pushed the market back up.
Okay, could the inflation affect performance on the NGX this week?
With the NGX, inflation is not usually, it's a major factor, but we don't usually see it in the short term. So like when inflation data comes out, naturally with the NGX, it's usually more of a long-term play. So in the short term, it's usually the fixed income market that usually reacts directly to inflation data. But obviously with time, a lot of market players start factoring the inflation data into some of these prices of the stocks.
Very interesting. Thank you so much for speaking with us here this morning.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Let's move on now to education matters. Western Delta University, located in Ogara, Delta State, South Nigeria, has held its 14th convocation ceremony with former Cross River State Governor Donald Duke being installed as the institution's second chancellor by visiting Chancellor James Ibori. News Central correspondent Austin Azu reports that Ibori seized the opportunity to announce the establishment of the Otemu Educational Foundation, offering free university education to disadvantaged young individuals from Delta State. Here is the report.
The 14th convocation ceremony of Western Delta University, Ogara, Delta State, has brought together an array of esteemed guests, including prominent politicians, traditional leaders, clergy, renowned scholars, and university partners to commemorate this significant event. The graduates, recipients of higher degrees and diplomas, as well as first degrees, took their graduation oath before the distribution of prizes to the most deserving among them, amidst an atmosphere of jubilation. Earlier, the convocation ceremony began with a symbolic gesture as James Ibori visited Chancellor installed Donald Duke as the University Chancellor, paving the way for the proceedings. The visiting Chancellor encouraged the graduating class to maintain unwavering commitment to their dreams, despite Nigeria's worsening economic climate, and to display unshakable determination in conquering all hurdles.
To our graduates, let me say to you, don't take impossible for an answer, because there's nothing that's impossible. With God on your side, you will always make your dreams if you work very hard.
In his remarks, Chancellor Duke highlighted the pivotal role of exceptional human resources in shaping the nation's destiny, echoing the university's core vision and aspirations.
A university is not the buildings. A university is the resource that is able to impact it on others. And so we need to attract resources from all over the world, right? Form partnerships with other institutions globally to make this institution truly a global one for its students. And everyone that passes through this university will be proud to say that I was a student of Western Delta University. I think that's the work cut out for me for the next couple of years.
Similarly, the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Augustine Ekelegbe, emphasized the institution's steadfast commitment to driving innovation, collaboration, and cultivating outstanding minds.
We are building a unique university brand through effective systems of management.
The convocation lecturer Ifeoku Ukaru delivered a thought-provoking convocation lecture on the youth and global development challenges, utilizing her personal experience to motivate the graduating class.
They need every single day to focus and have a goal, regardless of the circumstances they find themselves, regardless of the obstacles, regardless of the bottlenecks, they can achieve.
The governor of Delta State, represented by Professor Tunukari Nyaro, Commissioner for Higher Education, Edo State Deputy Governor and alumnus Dennis Idahusa and others urged graduates to seize available opportunities and make meaningful contributions to national development.
To the general students, I charge you to redouble your efforts at diligence and productivity required to effectively propel this institution to great heights. Become an expert in whatever you do.
This taught me a lot of things, one of which is perseverance, hard work, and resilience.
Beyond the university walls, some graduating students discussed their future perspectives and next steps.
There's a lot I need to contribute to this Nigeria economy.
Currently, I've registered for the Nigerian Law School, which hopefully by January to March will begin admission. From there, I want to go further in my law career. Yeah.
Well, I'm a fashion designer, so I think I'll focus on my fashion.
Now that the university gate has closed behind these graduates for good, it's expected that they will become good ambassadors to their alma mater. In Ogara, for News Central, I'm Austin Azu.
Fantastic reports there. Well, let's move on now to a story that we mentioned earlier on. A lawsuit has been filed to nullify the federal government's award of the Lagos-Calabar Highway project to High-Tech Construction. Now, the plaintiff is arguing that the government violated the Public Procurement Act and Environmental Impact Assessment Act in awarding the contract. We do have our man who's there right now, Bernard Akede. He joins me. He's right there at the Federal High Court. Bernard, good morning to you. Could you quickly bring us up to speed with what the situation currently is over there?
All right, Joe, good morning once again, and thank you for having me. Like you clearly mentioned, Funsho Doherty, who's the governorship candidate of the ADC in the last Lagos State governorship elections, has sued the federal government to court, but not just the federal government. He's also sued the Bureau of Public Procurement and High-Tech Construction Company. He's taking them all to court, and his complaint here, he's made several pre-action notices before now. He's argued that the award of the project has violated the Public Procurement Act and the Environmental Impact Assessment Act, that's the EIA. Now, Funsho Doherty has also made 7 claims in this lawsuit, stating that the action of the government's ministries and agencies involved in this project pose a significant risk, basically, to lives and property of people in Lagos State and beyond. And now he's urging the Federal High Court here to enforce, adherence to the law. We were able to speak to him just for a few minutes before he stepped into the courtroom when he came in here. And he says his expectations basically is that justice will take its course and that the court will hear him and probably put a halt to this particular, to the construction of this particular road. You and I know already that there's been a lot of conversation surrounding the construction of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. Certain people have lost properties, lost businesses. Some have been compensated, others have not. And I think part of this is why Funsho Doherty, the former Lagos State governorship candidate, is here to have the court listen to his case.
All right, Bernard. Thanks for that update. Do you, by chance, have any information if he was alone at the court? Was there the support of those who had lost their properties? Were they there with him, or is he taking this up by himself?
So he's taking this up by himself. When he came in here, he was only in the company of some of his lawyers. I do not believe I saw anybody who is a private owner of businesses or properties affected by the construction of that particular coastal highway. They may arrive, in the case of, in the course of, of the hearing, or maybe not. But whatever it is, we'll be here when the case is over, and then we'll hear from him concerning what the ruling of the court is, and then if there are any people or persons who have been affected, if they also arrive here, you can rest assured that we'll also get to hear from them as well. But as of now, we haven't seen any of them yet.
Thanks for the updates, Bernard Akede. We look forward to get more updates, especially like you said, when he is done and when he comes out.
Thank you for having me.
Coming up next here on News Now, UK announces £113 million aid for victims of Sudan's war we'll bring you this story and many more. Stay with us. You're watching news now. Welcome back. The news continues in West Africa, where we understand that vote counting is underway in Senegal following Sunday's parliamentary elections, seen as crucial for President Bassirou Diomaye Faye's government to secure a strong majority for his reform agenda. Voting proceeded peacefully across the country, with initial projections of parliamentary outcomes expected by Monday. Reports suggest Faye's governing PASTEF party is leading in early results, outperforming the two main opposition parties. Faye, elected in March, campaigned on economic transformation, social justice, and anti-corruption reforms, raising hopes among the youthful population grappling with unemployment and inflation. An opposition-led parliament initially stalled his agenda, prompting Faye to dissolve the chamber in September. Meanwhile, Senegal's ruling PASTEF party has secured a decisive victory in Sunday's legislative elections. Government spokesman Amadou Mustafa Ndiek Sall told journalists that with 90 to 95% of the results, the party is confident of a large victory. Sall praised the Senegalese people for their overwhelming support to the party, led by President Bassirou Diomaye Faye and Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko. The election is pivotal for the government to advance its reform agenda following a period of political tension and economic challenges. Official results are expected to be announced very soon. We now head to east of the continent, where the Sudanese Armed Forces, SAF, announced on Sunday that 150 fighters of the Rapid Support Forces were killed in a fierce battle in El Fasher, the capital of North Darfur State. According to a statement by the SAF's 6th Infantry Division, the clash lasted over 2 hours southeast of El Fasher, with SAF capturing several RSF bases and making significant advances. The RSF has yet to respond to the claims. Sudan has been mired in conflict since April 2023, with deadly clashes between the SAF and RSF causing over 24,850 deaths and displacing more than 14 million people, according to international reports. Sudan has been mired in conflict since April 2023, with deadly clashes as well. Meanwhile, the United Kingdom has pledged 113 pounds in humanitarian aid to support over 1 million people affected by the war in Sudan, doubling its previous commitment. The funding will assist 600,000 people within Sudan and 700,000 refugees in neighboring countries, providing food, shelter, and education. Foreign Secretary David Lammy condemned the suffering caused by the conflict, urging the Sudanese armed forces to keep the Ada border crossing open for aid. Fighting between Sudan's army and the Rapid Support Forces, ongoing since April 2023, has left millions at risk of starvation. The new package will support UN and NGO efforts to deliver vital assistance, with Lammy reaffirming the UK's commitment to aiding Sudan. Ahead of the G20 summit, global leaders are emphasizing renewable energy and climate action. European Union President Ursula von der Leyen, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, and Brazil's Environment Minister Marina Silva shared insights on tackling climate change during the Global Citizen Now Forum in Rio de Janeiro. Von der Leyen proposed a bold global target for renewables. The idea is to triple the amount of renewable energy by 2030. She stated, underscoring the urgency of the energy transition. The discussion reflects a growing international commitment to addressing environmental challenges, with renewable energy taking center stage in the push for sustainable global solutions. Defending champions Rivers Hoppers will face Lagos-based Hopes and Reed in the 2024 Nigeria Premier Basketball League Final 8 on Tuesday, after both teams secured wins in Sunday's semi-finals. Rivers Hoppers made history this year in the Basketball League Africa booking a back-to-back final spot with a thrilling 79-73 win over Boko City Chiefs in Port Harcourt. After trailing in the first half, Hoopers mounted a stunning comeback, outscoring the Chiefs in the second half to win by 6 points. Meanwhile, in the first semi-final, Hoops and Reeds defeated Nile University Spartans 67-58. Hoops led early, but Nile fought back to take a 1-point lead at halftime. In the second half, Hoops regained control and finished with a 9-point victory. Well, let's move on now and tell you that as we bring to you the final story, Nigeria's Super Eagles will go all out for victory against Rwanda on Monday, even with the leadership of Group D and a ticket to the 35th African Cup of Nations finals in Morocco secured, says head coach Augustin Eguavoin. The three-time African champions are determined to sustain their recent form and spirit ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers that resume in 4 months. And coach Augustin Eguavoin believes the absence of grieving goalkeeper Stanley Nwabali, defender Olaoluwa Aina, and informed forward Ademola Lookman will not stop their momentum. The Super Eagles are not aware of the fact that the Amavubi are in the same 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying group with them, and that they are the next opponent when the World Cup qualifying campaign resumes in March 2025.
23 players who are capable of playing at any given time. But as we speak now, 3 have gone back to their clubs, but Nwabali, we all know what happens. So whoever we pick tomorrow, I think we'll have a good day. Our boys are 100% professional, and they know what it takes to win games. They know what it takes to perform. So I'm not sure they're going to blink for a minute. The way we approach Rwanda, the same way we approach Brazil, the way we approach Argentina, the same way we approach.
And that does it for the news this hour. But before we go, a quick look at some of our major stories. President Bola Tinubu arrives Rio de Janeiro ahead of the 19th Heads of State and Government Summit. PDP condemns Ondo governorship election results, alleges electoral fraud. And Senegal's ruling party claims victory in legislative election as vote counting continues. You can watch News Central live on DSTV, channel 422, Star Times, channel 274, Avo TV, and you could always stream live on YouTube and also on Facebook. The ladies will be here on a Monday morning for Just Siri with very interesting topics. Make sure you stay tuned. I'm Joe Hanson. Good morning.